I do believe that Jesus is most likely the Messiah.
Because I'm going to tell you what is about to happen.
The Chosen Season 5 is officially on the corner. And with a bunch of sneak peeks, teasers, interviews that spoils what's to come, and the Bible as our guide at our hands, it is not very difficult to know what will happen in the first episode of the highly anticipated season. So, let's talk about it. Thanks to the Bible, we know that the season will begin with the dramatic scene of Jesus arriving in Jerusalem, to the culmination of his ministry that has been building for years.
You're always this nice from strangers. You're not a stranger now, you're family.
The Bible tells us that this event, which is commonly known as the triumphal entry, was significant because it marked the beginning of Jesus' final week. Yes, you heard it right. We are closer to the end more than we ever was. And I don't know about you guys, but personally, I'm absolutely not ready for it.
Jerusalem, Jerusalem.
You can run on for a long time.
Anyway, back to the topic. During this entry, we know that the crowd celebrated Jesus as the Messiah, laying down palm branches and shouting, "Hosanna to the Son of David." So, we will watch this entrance in detail in the first episode of the season, getting a positive start to arguably the saddest week in the history of humanity. Because we also very well know that this joyful welcome is actually preparing us for the upcoming betrayal.
We have a common problem. Jesus, the Nazarene, operates entirely outside our jurisdiction.
Then, the show will move on with the Last Supper, which happens shortly after the triumphal entry. I know many of us know this meal thanks to Leonardo da Vinci's immortal painting of it. But in the Bible, this meal marks the final time Jesus shares a meal with his disciples before his crucifixion. I mean, it goes without saying that for Christians, the Last Supper holds immense significance. If you are watching this video, there is a high chance that you are already well informed on this meal. But in case you don't, let me give you the gist of it. During this meal, Jesus institutes what we now know as the Eucharist or Holy Communion, as he tells his disciples, "This is my body, which is given for you. Do this in remembrance of me." So, basically, this is the moment when Jesus establishes a new covenant, as he offers himself as the sacrifice for the sins of humanity. So, in a way, Jesus prepares his followers for the sacrifice he's about to make, which makes this entire scene very emotional for all of us. Thanks to the trailer to the new season, we have an idea on what to expect from this scene. And from what we have seen so far, it is clear that the scene will be the ultimate focus point of the entire season, shaping its tone from the beginning to the end.
Listen carefully. Because I'm going to tell you what is about to happen.
Perhaps you catch the fact that the disciples are unaware of the full extent of what is about to happen. And throughout the quiet moments at the table, we see the depth of their love for Jesus and their confusion about his fate. So, expect The Chosen to give us a closer look at the interactions around the table, showing us not only the institution of the Eucharist, but also the emotional weight of Jesus' words as he speaks of his imminent betrayal and death. As I mentioned, the Last Supper also sets the stage for the betrayal that's to come, and I know that's going to be an incredibly emotional and also controversial part of this season. After the meal, as described in Matthew, Jesus will reveal that one of his disciples will betray him. Judas, who is also sitting at the table, will ask, "Is it I, Rabbi?" And Jesus will respond, "You have said so." I mean, do I have to even say that this moment will be absolutely chilling?
The hour is coming.
I know many of you guys do not have a lot of positive feelings for Judas, and I totally get you. For me, though, it's heartbreaking to see Judas, who has been with Jesus through so much, falls into this dark choice. And honestly, even though I know that there will be some choices in the new season that are questionable in terms of biblical accuracy, I still cannot wait for this more psychological approach to Judas and his mindset. But let me know what you think. Plus, I think we should all remember that Jesus, knowing the pain this betrayal will cause, doesn't just condemn Judas outright. Instead, he offers him a final opportunity to turn away from his path. Yet, unfortunately, Judas's heart is already set, and he leaves to carry out his plan.
If I don't do whatever big thing you've imagined I should do at this time, will you still believe?
What makes Judas's betrayal so painful is the personal nature of it. As many of you know, Judas was one of the 12, one of the chosen followers who had witnessed Jesus perform miracles, heard his teachings, and walked alongside him. So, his betrayal is a shocking reminder of the fragility of human hearts, even among those closest to Jesus. In the Bible, we learn that Judas agrees to betray Jesus to the religious leaders for 30 pieces of silver. This price, which is a meager sum at best, reflects the utter devaluation of the Son of God by one of his own. What are your takes from Judas' betrayal? Can't wait to hear your thoughts on it.
You must know something. I do believe that Jesus is most likely the Messiah.
Plus, it is important to remind that this betrayal isn't just a plot twist. It has deep theological implications. Correct me if I'm wrong, but as far as I know, in Christian theology, Judas' betrayal is seen as a fulfillment of prophecy. So basically, it is something that had to happen for Jesus to carry out his ultimate purpose of redemption. In Matthew, Jesus says, "But how then would the scriptures be fulfilled that say it must happen in this way?" For Christians, this is where salvation begins. And even though Judas' actions are seen as deeply tragic, in the end, this betrayal is the part of the divine plan. Perhaps looking through this lens would allow us to show mercy to Judas a bit more. Not that I believe we have to. Still, we know that The Chosen Season 5 will embrace such a route, focusing on the fragility of Judas and the psychological triggers that led him to this end. The Chosen will show us the inner conflict he must have felt as he made his decision. Season 5 of The Chosen will premiere in theaters in March and April 2025, giving us an early opportunity to experience the highly expected new season. Episodes 1 and 2 will hit theaters in March, followed by episodes 3 to 5 in April, with episodes 6 to 8 concluding the season. Afterward, the full season will be available for streaming first at Amazon Prime and then at the Chosen app. For more weekly updates on The Chosen Season 5, make sure to like and follow. Meanwhile, the video on the screen might also interest you.